Alright guys,
I'm Dan.
and I'm Andy.
Welcome to Game Couch.
Right, today we're going to be taking a look at Ubisofts Assassins Creed 3.
There are two pretty big spoilers in the main review, so here's a quick rundown before we get started.
It continues with the great stealthy action and sword fights.
The plot is its usual complicated and interesting self.
It's full to the brim with the series' classic dodgeball glitches.
It gets rid of some of the faffing from previous games and replaces it with a different kind of faffing.
The landscapes and cities are massive and quite impressive.
The world feels alive and rich.
There's some inconsistencies of the climbing and the stealth that makes it kind of funny, but it's also a little bit irritating at the same time.
Right, let's perform a leap of faith and get stuck in. So, Assassin's Creed 3 is mainly set during the American War for Independence, and there's quite simply too much plot to even begin to give you a rundown, so here's a super duper basic version with some specific and rather interesting plot points a bit later. The Templars want the American colonies controlled and the Assassins want them free. Baddies do naughty things and the goodies kill them in order to stop their evil world domination schemes. Or do they? Previous AC games usually were that cut and dry, but AC3 does a fairly decent job of blurring the lines between what's right and what's wrong, who's good and who's evil. Templars actually just want order and peace, and the Assassins want freedom of peace. They're walking towards the same goal, just in a different manner, and it brings a whole different dynamic to the story, especially when Connor is forced to work with his father.
You see, with the first few missions, we don't play as Connor, we play as Hatham, his assassin dad, on a mission to find a secret room left behind by the Forerunners. I mean the precursors. Anyway, at least the people who were around before us. They all died in the same way that we're all going to die now, and it's our job to prevent the catastrophe. You go about on your assassin business and recruit your team, you get to meet up with Connor's mother, whose name's so complicated I'm not even going to try. It's an interesting opening sequence that sets up the story's main arc and delivers one of the biggest shock twists of the story so far. Are you ready? Hatham is a Templar.
Dun, dun, dun.
Meaning Connor's father and one of Desmond's ancestors is a baddie. And the game proudly declares this by saying, "How do you like them apples?" in an achievement which comes up on the screen just as the reveal is done, which is done brilliantly.
It's really funny. Connor himself is an interesting character, though he's not as fleshed out as Ezio or as likeable. He does his job well and probably wears the most practical of the assassin's robes I've seen. He has some new gadgets in his arsenal, the bow and arrow and his assassin symbol shaped tomahawk for example, but my favourite's got to be the rope dart. It's silent and it can be used more than once providing you don't use it to hang your target, but let's face it, hanging your enemy up on display like Predator is fucking funny and it never loses its novelty.
Of course, between the sequences where we're playing as Connor, we get to play as Nolan North as Adam Sandler in the real world. And what you get to do as him is relatively interesting. You get to do 3 missions in fact. One's all platforming, one's all sneaky, and one's all actiony and violent. All 3 are a welcome change of scenery and lead into some rather revealing plot points to what happened to the precursors.
Now, in terms of the game's climax involving Desmond, it really does need a mention, and we're going to spoil it because there's no way to talk about it without doing so.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so skip this bit if you want to. First, the entire game's plot, as we mentioned, is typical AC, intriguing, deep and complicated, but its finale is, well, bullshit.
Juno, the precursor, the one who has led us on a merry trip since AC1, knows how to save the world, but doing so will let her loose on the population and she will enslave it. The other option is that the world burns, Desmond will become a hero to the survivors, eventually a legend, and then after he's died, a god. This will cause people to use his words to do what most people would do in that situation, and thus resuming the cycle.
We're back to cycles, aren't we? Since Mass Effect 3, people love a cycle.
Do they really?
No.
Nah. Personally, I'd go for the second option, let the world burn, but at least those who are left are free from tyranny to rebuild. But nope, Desmond takes control completely away from the player and frees Juno. He then dies in the process because he's an idiot, all because he reckons they'll find a way to stop her. Fuck off. Disappointed isn't even the word. Fuck knows where they'll go after this, and quite frankly, after finding out that Desmond's been playing me the whole time rather than the other way around, I just don't care.
Nah, neither do I. The AC series has always been noted for its historical accuracy, and as far as I can tell, AC3 is no exception, though what New York was like in the 1700s is beyond me. It looks amazing, and as an open world playground, one of the best in the genres. The inclusion of children and animals, such as cats and dogs, really make this world feel so much more alive and real compared to other open world games. That being said, however, they can get in your way. The children replace beggars and manage to be even more irritating thanks to the fact they only have one dialogue recording, and dogs can trigger trip mines. So here I am, setting up a trip mine for a convoy of redcoats, and just as I finish laying the fiendish trap, boom, a playful pup bounds over and blows me in it to bits. As irritating as it was fucking funny, and I really did piss myself.
The landscapes are nothing short of epic, and during the sequence in the winter months in the forest, it's just absolutely beautiful. Exploring can sometimes feel a little bit empty, but it's still interesting and entertaining to traverse the vast majority of the wilderness thoroughly and smoothly through the trees. Combat and gameplay is as usual smooth and responsive. It does still have its niggles, and dodgy climbing for example, and some of the movements in the stealth, where you hide in a bush directly in front of somebody in a similar fashion to the MGS1 syndrome that some stealth games have, where they just don't see you even though you're right there. And some of the responses are a bit funny where they'll see you behind a fucking wall as well.
The new in-game faff is hunting and creating a thriving homestead. Hunting in the game, much like Red Dead Redemption, doesn't really earn you anything except bear pelts and claws, etc.
Oh, the hunting.
Which can then be sold to make money. That's it really, it doesn't serve any other purpose. And if you remember from previous games, if you kill too many civilians you failed your mission, right? Well in AC3, if you kill lots of animals off the trot, say an entire pack of wolves that attacked you at random, and then don't skin most if not all of them, you fail too. Why? Because, warning, Connor skinned all the animals he killed. Again, fuck off AC3. Killing animals is boring anyway, and when you force me to fight an entire pack of wolves, and then kill them all with the same animation over and over and over again, I don't want to have to then skin the entire pack with the same animation over and over again, just so I can carry on with the damn mission.
Spending money on your homestead only really allows you to earn more money, which you can spend on your ship, the Aquila, which to be honest isn't really that important in the long run.
The sequences aboard the Aquila, however, are the best in the game, without a shadow of a doubt. Commanding the ship on the open seas in a full-on naval battle using your cannons and your swivel guns to blow enemies to bits while avoiding incoming fire and rocks, some of the most exciting gameplay I've ever experienced. Tell you what, Ubisoft, craft a story about a pirate. Fuck the Animus and the end of the world junk, just make a game where I can command a ship and board other ships and kick the fuck out of other pirates. Keep the Assassin's Creed combat engine and the flintlock pistols, keep the upgrading the ship with a few refinements and stuff like that. I'm not a games designer, you decide. Bash a decent story together and I'll be happy as Larry because it's fucking brilliant.
Assassin's Creed 3 is an absolute fucking riot. It's definitely worth the money. You should at least go and buy it and play it for yourself and make your own mind up on recommendation. It's incredibly fun, one of the best games we've played of the year so far. It looks great, sounds great, feels fantastic, and there's quite a lot involved that we haven't really had time to look into as well.
No.
But be ready for the big pile of crap that lies right at the end.
Yeah. Alright, that was Assassin's Creed 3. As usual, hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments or suggestions for videos you want us to do in the future, stick them in the section below.
Don't forget to check us out on Facebook or Twitter, and please subscribe.
See ya. They're in the yard and not too far from the car.